digital figures.
That's cool. Yeah, the Fantastic Four stuff that has been in this like longer exclusive wave, like it's like, I mean, they're so good. It's like the definitive versions of these characters. But like one thing I'm curious about is the Fantastic Four's had a couple of different like outfit variants that they all share uniformly like all the time. So is that something you guys are considering as far as the black and whites or future foundations, things like that? Just the different costumes they've worn over the years. Like now that you have these like awesome skulls.
I think it's definitely on the table, right? To see when we first put Invisible Woman out, I don't think we knew how the response would be, but it's been super positive following up with Johnny. So yeah, once we complete the team, that kind of stuff is always on the table. If we're looking to do a multi-pack, we would definitely do different costumes. So yeah.
Nice.
I'm not sure if this has been asked since I came in a little late. The Fantastic Four, since we're now seeing them brought into the stores, all of the Fantastic Four-ish properties, are they going to be Walgreens exclusives? Because I see like it was leaked yesterday. The Silver Surfer is now in their computer systems. Obviously, Johnny, Sue, Reed. Any other ones? Are they all going to be like exclusive to one retailer? Is that how we're going to be seeing them, or will eventually those properties be mass retail?
So the properties, I think everything is fair game for us for Fantastic Four and associated type characters. For distribution, we're still determining, but so these are just the ones we've announced so far. Mr. Fantastic, and we've said the thing is coming, so kind of safe to assume that.
Okay.
But I try not to stoke those flames, right? With like that stuff happens with like leaks and stuff getting out, so I'll say leaked lists and things, they aren't 100% all the time, but
Now, the thing will also be Walgreens?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so all those properties are freed up now. Not all of them, but you're able to work with those properties easier than you have in the past few years?
Yeah, I mean, it's never been, I don't think it's been an issue of couldn't do them.
Yeah,
like
there's no
contractually or anything.
Like that. We could. It was just all about timing. What was the right time, and who wanted to take it there. Walgreens came to us, and collaboratively we worked together with Walgreens to give you guys awesome Fantastic Four characters. So as long as the timing's right, the retailer has a certain need. We know that there's a need from the fan side of things. So if all the stars kind of align, we'll make sure we go down that path.
And they're coming back in the books, it looks like, too, right? In Legacy, or at least Johnny and Ben there. But, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the movie and TV figures that that are coming out and being worked into Legends too. One thing I'm curious on though is like how
that character.
Like how do you pick what the ratio is, like the number of characters, like in a mix is going to be that? Because you've got something like Guardians of the Galaxy where both the first movie and second movie were like really movie heavy in the character designs and selections. Some other ones like Thor, we had like kind of an even mix of like 3 and 3. So like what sort of goes into the thought process of like what the balance is going to be?
So yeah, we try to mix it because we know there are big movie fans, there are some fans who only want classic, there are some fans who collect everything, so it's always kind of a juggling act, and we do try to hit the characters, the main characters. It just so happened for Guardians this year they have a big team of guys. So unfortunately we had 2 waves of Guardians to really get to the first timers like Nebula, Yondu, characters that we didn't do in the first movie.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, so it's always a balance, and kind of using the tooling wisely too, because the movie figures are always all new. So we have to balance, be economical on that side of things as well.
Yeah.
We also work really closely with Marvel and the studio. They're great partners. So if they're telling us, hey, this certain character is gonna have a big part, or we'd like to see this one, and think it'd be good for you guys, and people will love this character, then we, like Ryan said, it's a juggling. So we plan for X amount of comic and X amount of movie, but then, oh no, this great great movie characters can be awesome. Okay, then we'll have to shift things around every now and then. So there's really no set formula.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what's right for theatrical and what's right for the comic-based characters that we have to put in the line yet.
And those like decisions are very, very complicated and lots of people. And so when we see comments online of, oh, like why didn't they do so and so? Like how could they have missed it? It's not that we missed it. It was a tough choice to make. We work with our partners at Marvel as well, making sure that we're hitting the characters most relevant to them and who they know are going to be the big breakout characters in the film. And so it all kind of is incorporated into that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is so I know it's like less likely, obviously, just because they're as you said to the point of relevancy. But like, are characters from like past movies, like say like Red Skull from the first Captain America movie, or like any of the bad guys that Iron Man fought, like is that something that you still like kind of have as a potential thing where you're like, man, like this would be like really cool to like get to someday, just finding a place to do it, or like is it kind of like those one and dones are sort of like probably off the table altogether?
No, we're always looking at the things we didn't do and like, oh man, it'd be great if we could do that. There are so many characters from the movies that we haven't done. So if we're given the opportunity to do something like that, if the timing's right, then yeah, we'll absolutely jump all over it. So because we feel like those characters need to be done. There's a list of them that I can just throw out there that we think weren't done and needed to be done. Nebula's a perfect example.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we were here with have the opportunity to get her out for the second one. So if the opportunity presents itself, I can't see us passing up the opportunity to work on some of those characters and get them out so that everyone can sort of complete their collection.
Yeah, they're definitely not forgotten.
Right.
I would say. I think back in that 2013-ish, 2014, or even before then, for the first Captain America film, Legends wasn't as big as it was today. We weren't doing as many or any movie Legends, so that's why like Red Skull hasn't been done. Some of the Iron Man villains haven't been done. So we're always thinking.
Nice.
And I know that with the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch line for the Last Jedi, they really got some better facial likenesses than ever before, using some printing technology for those faces. Is that something you're looking at bringing into any movie-based or TV-based Marvel figures?
So we actually came out with that before Star Wars. I don't have to go on the record.
Not that we're competing with our own internal teams.
Because their stuff looks amazing. I've checked it out as well. It's super awesome. But yeah, like if you notice the Tom Holland head in the Spider-Man Homecoming 2-pack, that was actually, Gamora from Guardians Wave 2 was technically the first with a new process across either of the brands. But she was the only one out of that wave. It's kind of hard to tell unless you look closely because she's got the green complexion. But then you moved on to Tom Holland in the Homecoming 2-pack.
There's some right up there.
And Arnie right there.
And
like
the Phoenix pack too, right?
Has it, yeah. So take a close, like Hela too. Like that's that new facial process. We think it is the most realistic looking, authentic Marvel representation.
Yeah,
it was look good.
In this
Yeah, we love it. We're all in. Netflix, movies. I can imagine doing this for TV.
And it is so. Yes, it started and in earnest for both of the brands. A lot of our fall waves have it, and then continuing moving forward in 2018, they'll all have it. The movies will have it as well. So, yeah.
You guys have well, obviously Multiple Man and some of the other figures that we saw years ago that never actually made production, and now over the past year or two, we've been seeing some of those figures leak into each wave, kind of creep into each wave. Is that intentional? Those figures were made, they just didn't fit in at that time. Now you're trying to give the fans what they want to, give us those figures.
Well, just like the movie figures that we haven't done, Ryan was saying how they're not forgotten. We're always aware of the ones that we did or showed at cons and didn't release or didn't put out. And, we know how frustrating that could be to see it and then have it not come out. So we want to make sure that we're able to get that figure out to you because you saw it and there was an intention to put it out. So yeah, there's only a few left. I think that we've shown that we haven't put out, but we're working hard to make sure that they all get out.
And I'm sorry.
No, I was going to add and just say that, yeah, we're aware of those figures that have been shown and never released, so that always factors into our decisions of like, oh, that's another reason to do this guy or this girl, because, you know, it was shown before and never shipped, so we know that once the toothpaste is out of the tube with those kind of things, that we have to get to it eventually to satisfy those people, so yeah.
The X Waves, you've obviously been putting a lot of effort in getting those to us. Will we continue to see that? Because obviously Avengers, Spider-Man, you know, those have been steady. The X Waves have been slower, but now, you know, we're seeing them, and obviously with like Deadpool being successful and everything like that, that opens up a different market. Will we continue to see that moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you look at Juggernaut Wave 2016, Warlock Wave this year, we're showing, you know, we've announced the Apocalypse Wave already for, like, that's, the train's going on X-Men. We're churning those out at least one wave a year, and then with this Deadpool wave for 2018, you're basically getting like 2 X-Men waves. So, you know, we know that Deadpool is really popular. That new movie looks great. Josh Brolin looks awesome as Cable, so we hope that's a hit as well. Continue to do more Deadpool / X-Men universe characters.
How about the Netflix deal? Is that a separate license for you guys, or is that part of the whole Marvel? Because, you know, Disney is opening their own stream, and isn't the whole Netflix thing up in the air, or whether they're going to air them on the Disney Channel or Netflix?
So I don't know about that. We just know that, right, they're going to continue to make the announced Netflix shows. We've got Punisher, we've got follow-up seasons for Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil.
So Netflix is continuing with this? I hadn't followed.
Yeah, I mean, it would be news to me if something changed, but in terms of how it impacts us, it's all under the same umbrella. You know,
okay, so you don't need like a separate license.
No, we work with Jesse and everyone, our same normal partners.
What about, well, I don't know if you've watched Gifted.
Yeah, I saw the first episode.
The first episode I thought was pretty good, and I was kind of excited to see Blink in there.
Yeah.
You guys still can't get like the Fox licenses or the characters that Fox, you know, obviously like we're not getting a movie Deadpool, movie Cable and Domino. Any chance like Gifted would fall into, you know, you could slip through the cracks with like the Netflix wave, or that's out of reach?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question, but I think to this point we have focused more on the classic side for the X universe related things, and that's all we've announced thus far. Maybe in the future, it's always something we're trying to work towards. I know Dwight has a bit of a man crush on Hugh Jackman and would love to do a Hugh Jackman Wolverine. That's up there with his wish list.
Yeah, I know he wants to do the Reavers.
Yeah.
That's one of his. So maybe we could see like a comic book version of Blink.
I'm a big fan. You know, I read the whole Exiles book back in the day when she was a founding member of that, and I would love to get her out at some point too, comic version at least.
When's Mysterio come out?
Mysterio. So we tried to arrange them by waves. They've gotten a little bit mixed up. So if you have any questions on who's where, but Mysterio is in Spider-Man Wave 1 for 18, spring. We've actually had the full Spider-Man wave here, everyone. So the 2 new reveals to round out that wave for New York are Prowler and Spider-Man Noir floating. I see them there. So
Spider-Man, what's his name?
Spider-Man Noir right there in the black with the trench coat.
What's this punk one over here?
So yeah, we announced him in San Diego. He is in that Spider-Man wave. He's the Spider-Verse, one of the Spider-Verse characters. This is probably my first or second favorite for the wave, just because he's got his awesome guitar here, right? A vest, and then he even has a special guitar pick hand and kind of a rocker hand as well, which is new. And so lots of fun ways to pose him out.
And that's the Spider-Man Series 1 wave?
Yep, Spider-Man first wave for 2018.
Oh, the newest wave.
So they're joined in that wave.
Say, there's been other Spider-Man.
So much fun.
Great figure, right?
I shot this, like, it's so great to shoot from the lights and all.
Settle a bet for us. What's your like preferred profile, face and hair situation?
Oh, I like the beard, man. You gotta have the worst beard.
And then on top, and then what on top?
Oh, the helmet, obviously.
So you
gotta
said
have
beard
the
and
old
helmet?
school
Beard and helmet.
Beard and helmet.
So that's kind of a
old
mix.
school
That's kind of a mix of what we were.
I'm more cool, like old school Norse feel than comic feel. And
Okay.
anytime you can make Thor look old like a Viking, like a real Viking, I'm down with that.
So Bobby, I prefer like,
I prefer the
They didn't
GQ.
have
I
razors
prefer the
back then.
GQ style. I like the beard with the long hair.
and I prefer helmet, clean shaven.
Shave.
So yeah, he's doing the mix.
Well, I mean, that's the, like, you know, that's
Well,
the
Thor's all
classic
about
Viking
photos, so you
style,
can go
so-
anywhere about something.
I mean, that's why I gave you the option, so you didn't have to
It's beautiful
settle.
figure.
Yeah.
I love it. The photos that came out of this, or when they post this out tomorrow, are awesome.
I was really excited when we finally started that figure because I knew when we did the first three, I knew, all right, well next, you know, we're gonna do Thor, and I couldn't wait to do that figure because
For me, that's
it
the
was
best
so much
one.
fun.
By far. By far the best.
That cape is pretty
I
fantastic.
can't collect them all because they're too big, so I'm going to pick and choose. As soon as I saw that one, I knew that was coming on.
Are the vehicles coming out as like deluxe
Yes.
figures just by themselves?
Yeah.
So it'll be those two. For now, you have additional.
We might have more to announce, but those will be coming out in packs to themselves. So like Ghost Rider, his bike is one pack
Okay.
by itself. You don't need to get anything else.
Okay.
Same for Black
What do you
Widow.
guys think of the vehicles?
I think the vehicles look dope, especially Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
and yeah, I definitely think
You got
they look nice.
Wolverine's Jeep.
Yeah, Wolverine's Jeep, and now you got Fantastic Four. You got to get their vehicles to connect.
Yeah, we were
I think-
excited to do this. I mean, it's the first time Hasbro has really tackled vehicles in legend scale. Toy Biz in it, a little bit dabbled in it. So we work hard to cost these out, to get them in the line. We hope they're successful. We hope you guys love them as much as we do. And if they do well, like there's lots of ideas, people are already throwing out there.
And they look pretty well built, so they don't look flimsy. That's,
No, and I
that's a
think
good.
it's-
Excuse me,
Yeah.
so this one has spring suspension.
Yeah, this actually
Yeah,
has a
I was looking at
suspension,
that.
So unlike the
What would
wheels-
your top picks be? Would a hover chair be in there somewhere?
A hover chair, of course. Yeah.
Well, look at his shirt.
I could have guessed
I had
that.
another shirt
That
this
was
morning,
a-
and I'm
that
like,
was a
nah,
really
I'm coming to
good
see the Marvel team. I gotta throw that on.
I would love a new Zabu. I would totally love a new Zabu. Like with Kazar, because I dug the Comic Con one from years ago, but I don't know. I would like one that kind of meshed aesthetically a little bit, tighter with the Legend style.
And not to be on a downer side, you guys are doing awesome with the Legends, putting out a lot of waves and everything like that. Love the collector style packaging. I was speaking to somebody internally, and obviously you guys are aware of a lot of the issues with the swapping, I assume. Is there something that you guys are thinking about that to try to prevent that, going back to maybe the clamshells, which the older, I guess it was more so Toy Biz, but even when you guys first took over the brand, the first couple waves were still on a card. Is that something you guys would think about doing for all the waves rather than the collector style packaging?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely aware of it. We send each other funny pictures of the crazy stuff you see. I do, and I love how swapping is the euphemism used because it's stealing, it's theft, it's like pilferage. So, which is a whole other issue. I think we are aware of it. We do want to provide the best collector experiences we can, but there's also limitations too once other parties get involved. And I think it's we strive to, and the packaging team tries to make and design stuff that looks good, but do you sacrifice it to address this small problem and then kind of reduce the overall aesthetic? It's kind of a mixed bag.
So we're looking at options. Yeah, we're aware of it,
Okay.
and working with retailers and our internal sales teams, and we're looking at options to help minimize.
Like you said, it's funny sometimes the stuff you come across and you see, and you're like, really? That they really did that? And I'm obviously I'm here, I'm a collector, I review, and so I think I'm pretty on point with knowing the product. And when the Thor wave was coming out, I went to one of the retailers, and it was a day or two before it was released, and I saw it on the shelf, and I was super excited. I was like, oh my God, they're here. I'm gonna buy them. And it was 3 of the figures. One of the figures was Ares. And I had seen the pictures of Ares, but I didn't. It was more the fanboy that was super excited. I was like, oh my God, it's Jane Foster, Thor, Ares, and it was another one. I just scooped them up, went and was able to purchase them, and I left. not till I posted the pictures, like I took a picture on the shelf and I posted it on my social media, and everybody starts like, oh my God, you found him. And then they go, wait a second, that Ares is a swap out. And I go, no, it's not. And then I pulled up pictures of the old Build-A-Figure. I'm like, crap, it really is. And
swapped out the old Build-A-Figure for the new figure?
Yeah, swapped out the old Build-A-Figure, and it was a couple days before the street date in store. So
That's the strangest thing ever.
and I couldn't, that's what made me like second guess it, like no, it's actually the right one. And then I got home and I
It's
was
really
like,
strange because that Build-A-Figure is way more rare now
Yeah,
at
that
this
is
point
more
than. So,
but you also have the knockoff.
oh,
With-
yeah.
It was the knockoff. So,
Okay.
you know, ultimately I took it back to the store, but right there in the store was where I took the pictures, and that's where on my ride home, everybody's like, oh, look at the skull. And I hadn't looked at the skull deeply until I got home. And
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, sorry about that.
No, my fault as getting super excited, but then at the same time, so now, even for me, like I tell people, not only could like the mother or father that's shopping for their kid get got, but even one of us if we're not paying attention.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, not to be on the downside of it, because you guys are doing an awesome job, but I know the retailers got a bigger part to do once it's in their hands.
Yeah, it's a bigger issue, and we're definitely aware of it, and always thinking of how to help.
Mm-hmm.
And again, to that point, any chance of more? I know you guys did a Toys R Us exclusive Groot, which was the Build-A-Figure before. I know Red Hulk, Jubilee, some of those really go for a high premium. Any chance of re-releasing some of those older Build-A-Figures to try to combat the Chinese bootlegs that are getting out there? Fing Fang Foom, I know, is one that people are just, bootlegging all over the place.
Yeah, those types of Build-A-Figures, they play into our discussions of what to bring back. We did it with Ares, we did it with Groot, like you said. So it's always part of the motivation to re-release them, I would say.
I think the '90s retro series was like a really fun concept. I know it's early because it hasn't even hit retail yet, but there's like
There it is, right behind you. Yeah.
I actually started hitting Walgreens. I saw a lot
Oh,
of
I
people
did hear
finding
that.
Walgreens
Yeah,
this week.
yeah.
popping up, but I think the other kind of the second biggest kind of retro from the old school 5-inch toyless days was definitely the X-Men packaging. So is that something you're considering too as like a follow-up, or do you think you'd like to continue with the silver cards, or between the two ideas?
Yeah, I'd say for the Toy Biz line from the 90s, the X-Men kind of orangey type card, as well as that gray superheroes. I think those are the two most identifiable. And if that one's a success, I would love to do an X-Men version at some point. And I know our Tony on our team is a big X-Men fan, and he's already sketched out what that could potentially look like, which is funny. But yeah, hopefully that one does well. The pre-orders seems to go pretty fast from what I saw on Big Bad and Entertainment Earth, and so hopefully there's a good pickup.
Is that going to be like a limited run once production is done and whatever ship to ship? Is it going to just be that, or will it there be like another production, kind of like the Star Wars, the 40th anniversary, where some of them were shipped and then other ones was just a limited run? I think the second wave was more so like a limited run on that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened with them. I do know that it was broken across waves, like you said, and sometimes wave 2 and for whatever ends up being harder to find than wave 1. This is just all by itself, right? Case pack of 6. Should be a bit. I don't think it's limited. It should be kind of a widespread release, and everyone's getting it. So,
Are there any more reveals
For the show today.
So the reveals. So just if you didn't spot them on your own, right? So for Spider-Man, we had Noir and we had Prowler. For X-Men, we had Gladiator. He's new. I mean, it was an old Comic-Con figure, but we're redecorating him, and he's going to be part of the X-Men line. Then we have, Multiple Man too. He's our big one with 3 heads for army building. And then
Will he be single packed?
he will be single packed with 3 heads.
Good, right?
I had to ask. Yeah.
And then Taskmaster here. So these 3 are Avengers Wave 1 for 2018. And that is it.
And is there a push? I mean, it's a good thing because, like you said, that was a Comic-Con exclusive. There's certain figures that were Comic-Con exclusives, and for the people who weren't able to get the exclusives are now having a chance to get that. Has there been a big push to get some of those figures released to, I guess, what you could say, the mass market instead of just the cons?
So that Thanos Imperative set, we're doing Black Bolt and the Black Panther wave with the new head. We're doing Gladiator and the X-Men, and then Medusa is a new version of hers coming out for Walgreens this year with actually an all-new look.
She's a little smaller, right?
Well, I think
She doesn't
she's
have the high heels.
Okay, because I saw a comparison.
Yeah. And she had one of them, they have a different mask.
Okay.
So yeah, we're trying to get the...
And even this year, the Thor set, Jane Forrester Thor,
Yep.
and it's like Deco, and then Abomination. Okay. I know a lot of people thought that was good because it gives other people a chance to get it. That
we wouldn't do that to you guys if we put Jane out in the Comic-Con set. We know she's popular enough, right? It's a Thor movie year, so a lot of Thor, comic activation as well. So that's why she was in the mainline wave.
How'd you get Songbird's wings inside the standard packaging? Looks like it'd be a tight fit.
Shout out to Jason, our structure engineer. Yeah. We always, whenever there's a figure like that, everyone turns to Jason and says, "Will it fit?" He says, "I don't know," and then he makes it work. So,
That's nicely done because I love it. Because it's one of those things that could have easily been shrunk down too small just a bit, but no, it's perfect.
He doesn't like that we push the limits. He asked me, he goes, "Bobby, how big is that?" And I said, "It don't fit in the package."
And then he said the other day, "Oh, also you just have to make the packaging bigger." Yeah.